was like, yo, I think you'd be good for this promotions director job at Hot.
At Hot 107.9.
Yeah. And at that point, I kind of was getting my groove. Like, I don't know if I wanted to go work for anybody at that point.
Yeah.
Because it was like, shit, I was figuring it out.
Right.
But then wifey was like, you crazy?
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing J.R. McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
So you made the move back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so when you made the move back, what was your first position that you took?
First position. So I knew that again, to make it to where I could try to leverage some things. I just transferred from AT&T to AT&T.
Yeah.
And just took sales and was going crazy on sales.
Yeah.
And from there, I knew it was easy to get back into the promoting part because I already knew everybody. Yeah. And so I still was doing that and figuring it out. And then it came to a point where I was like, you know what, I gotta take a risk to now, if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I need to be in a job that's still music related as well as building the company music. It can't be two separate. Like AT&T was so far out of the way that it didn't make sense. And I remember it was 2 points that happened to me that made me realize that, like, you get these wake up calls. And one of them was, I remember, I don't know if anybody remember, Jermaine Dupri had that So Def reunion joint. And he did a reunion show at the Fox. Okay. And he had Jay-Z as special guest, and Beyonce came with Jay or whatever. And it was at the and it was at the after party at the club. Like, I didn't go to the show because I had to work, and then I ended up going to the after party just because at some point, you know how when you're coming up in this, you gotta be in the right places.
You gotta be in the places.
You gotta be in the places. So I was like, I gotta be at this party. Yeah. So I get to the party and I'm in there, and I turn around and I just so happen to be with, the legend Shaka. Shaka was behind me, and he brought me to his section. I turn around and literally it's like Jay right here, Beyonce, Puff. Yeah, I want to be Puff instead of Keep My Eye or whatever. So I'm seeing all them. I'm partying with these people now. Right. It's lit.
That's why Atlanta's Atlanta. Because that can happen to you.
Yes. Before you know it, if you moving right, you're in the right places. So now I'm partying. I'm shaking hands. I'm loving life. Right. And then I go to work the next day at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Because like I said, all you need is like 3 hours sleep. Go to work at 8 o'clock next day in the morning, and first customer comes. She hands me her phone. She's like, it's not working. And I was like, what's wrong with it? She was like, it fell in the toilet. I'm like, yo, you handed me your phone out the toilet? And at that point, that's when I was like, you know what? This can't be life.
I can't go from partying with Jay-Z and Beyonce to get to the toilet water phone.
Nah, it's time to make a change. At that point, it was like, you know what? This not life. This can't be life. So that was my wake-up call, like, nah, you got to figure this out. Right. And so I quit. I quit AT&T at that point, put together some ideas of, like, living off my 401k, money that I had saved, and just was like, fuck it, I quit. Yeah. And at that time, I got fortunate that that's when I met Ray. Like, I knew Ray and I knew Rock City, but I didn't know him.
Yeah, Ray Daniels. Yeah, okay. So then I literally just left from over there.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah. And he was just like, yo, I got some shit going on over here if you want to hang out. And that's when Slow had just passed. And so, I just knew, I just wanted to connect with him or whatever. Right. And so he was like, shit, come over here. And we just figured it out. And the first time I ever went to LA was with them.
With them.
And it's crazy because it became a full circle moment, because the first time I ever went to LA, Rock City was winning an award from ASCAP. I had no idea what that was. Yeah. And so I just remember sneaking in with them so they won their award. Yeah. I'm there taking pictures while they on the red carpet, taking pictures of them on the red carpet. Then we go to the dinner. I end up going to what they call the overflow table at the award show. Yeah. So I got all the leftover food that nobody wanted or whatever. Oh my God. That was my first experience with ASCAP. I had no idea, you know what I'm saying? But man, they took me everywhere. Like at this point, this is when Rock City was like really catching on fire. Like they had been on fire at that point with like Mario and stuff, but like catching on, like they did. This is when they did Usher's I Don't Mind. Yeah, and that's when they started arguing about if the record was coming out, and we all in the truck and the record just comes out the blue. experiences like that, like those things is just different. But that was for a whole year. I was trying to just figure it out and live on my 401k. And then I just got a call somebody called me and was like, yo, I think you'd be good for this promotions director job at Hot.
At Hot 107.9.
Yeah. And at that point, I kind of was getting my groove. Like, I don't know if I wanted to go work for anybody at that point. Yeah. Because it was like, shit, I was figuring it out.
Right.
But then wifey was like, you crazy?
The wife's puts it in perspective.
She's like, yeah, you should do it. Why not? Like, you like doing events and shit. Like, don't they do birthday bash? I was like, all right. So... Yeah.
But I would think that came off relationships. You said somebody reached out to you. You weren't even looking for that because you kept in relationships so tight. Yeah. Somebody reached out to you with a job. That and they also just saw me moving. They saw me out in places like you said. When you out in the right places and the energy that you're bringing, somebody saw that and was like, well, shit, we have a job that requires that. Right. You should figure it out. Bro, the one thing about Atlanta, now I can't speak for today because I don't go out nowhere today. So I don't know what it's like today. But one thing about Atlanta back in our time, you know what I mean? I hate to say that in sound, but back in our time, if you were moving around, you were easily noticeable. Oh, for sure. You know what I mean? That's how I got Boo's attention and how I ended up getting my first job. Well, part of the reason I ended up getting my first job. Yeah. And the reason Boo even let me around is because everywhere he went out on the north side, I was there. And he was like, and by mind you, I look like a kid because I always had like a super baby face. So I was like 22 years old, but I look 16. Yeah. And so he's like, who is this kid that's always in the club and all this sex? And so literally he came to me, he asked me, he's like, bro, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how it works.
Yeah, and that's how I got like Boo's good graces because he's just seeing me everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? So in Atlanta, that can happen for you. You be in the right places.
It actually still happens.
Okay. I don't go outside.
It actually still happens. That's the beauty of Atlanta is that everybody, it doesn't matter whether you're a CEO, a millionaire, damn near billionaire to just starting, y'all could be in the same room.
Right. Exactly.
At any given time.
Exactly.
And if you're playing your cards right and taking advantage of it, you never know who's watching. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
Now, I got to ask you this as a former radio executive. Yeah. Does radio still matter?
Man, that's a weird question because...
no, it's not a weird question, brother.
For me, it's weird because I have so many close friends that's still in radio.
Exactly. And so it's hard to answer. They're not watching this. They're not watching this.
They're going to hear this. They're like, your man's like radio dead. Nah, I think it depends. I think what I've learned and what I've been fortunate enough to learn after wasting tons of money is that in the music business, if you want to do it on the artist side and work with artists, you got to have a plan. Yeah. And if you have the right plan for radio, yeah. It's not, I mean.
Well, what would that plan be? Because I would love to know that.
The baby will tell you it's not dead.
Well, wasn't that 5 years ago?
Nah, the baby's still hot.
No. 5 years ago when he used radio to maximize because he's not using it in 2022.
You don't think so?
No, he's on it, but that's not gonna be his testimony in 2022. Oh my God, the radio. No, that's not his testimony.
I know. Lil Baby still uses radio.
I mean, a lot of people still use radio, and I have very close friends. I just got done using radio, so I'm not completely knocking it. But I just want you to tell the truth.
You gotta have a plan. No, the truth is, if you have a plan.
What would that plan be, sir?
It just depends on the plan. Could be anywhere from actually having an idea of we're gonna hit the college market and roll out everything and hit the college radio side, and we're gonna test the record on the college radio side to we're gonna get it to the mix show DJs and see what it is because the best entryway into radio, two of them that I've experienced is college radio and a mix show DJ.
Right, of course.
Because at the end of the day, when you have these holidays, and this is where most people don't realize, when you have these holidays from Labor Day, Memorial Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the radio has off days for their personality. So the DJs have those mixes. You hear them all the time. So-and-so mix brought to you by this label, the Labor Day mix, the whatever mix. This is continuous hours of music. Right. They can't play the same thing over and over again. So if your record is actually hot or doing something and you had a relationship with a DJ, they'll slide it in there.
Not for sure.
And then if your record is registered, you're going to show up on the BDS.
On the BDS.
And media and all that. Yeah. And then if you show it up, now you got a valid reason to be like, hey, we might be able to put this behind radio. We might be able to put some money here because this is actually testing and showing up.
It's doing well.
Yeah, it's showing up and it's researching.
Jason,
that's part of research.
I'm not going to drill you on this, but I just want you to know that you have not answered the question.
I said if you have a plan, yes.
If you have a plan
if you don't have a plan,
but is that going to move the needle?
It can. If you have a record that needs an extended life, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
I have seen.
So you just dropped something there so quietly. If it needs some extended life, what does that mean?
Extended life. So say you have a record that's just going crazy in the streets, and the college kids love it, and parents are hearing their kids playing it on TikTok and hearing it they're hearing the snippet of it, and it's being placed in music beds in different places and things like that. Yeah. And then you want to continue the life of that and reach a whole bigger audience. Right. Because you still got to think, I think we take for granted that we live in, I mean, they don't really consider us a major city, but I think we are.
A major city. I mean, we're one of the meccas of hip hop. You know what I mean? So,
well, when I say major city, like, and I'm going from a perspective of brands. Like when you're pitching brands, we're not even on a list of $1 million budgets. Yeah, doing that because they don't consider us they just have always disrespected Atlanta. But when you look at radio in the Midwest, that's very important. Yeah. When you're in Boise, Idaho, when you're in Reno, Nevada, when you're in these places where people don't even tour, right? That's important.
Because they're still listening to the radio.
Because they're still listening to the radio.
Right.
Because that's a major touch point. Yeah.
Now we're actually getting somewhere. So we attack the right places.
Yes, you touch the right places. And that's why I say you got to have a plan. Right. You can't just go do radio and not have a plan because it's so expensive. And you got to attack segments. You got to attack markets.
Here's my silent beef with radio. Yeah. Is why haven't the prices dropped?
Listen, I don't get into that because that's
I need to get in because the thing is I would love to do radio at a price proportionate to its worth. At this point in moment, they haven't lowered the prices, but their influence has significantly dropped.
I can't say that.
You can't say that. I can because I spent the money. I did it. I did it.
And it extended the life of the record for sure.
Listen, you don't spend that type of money to extend the life. All right, you spend that type of money to create a life. All right, and that's the truth, brother. That's the truth. So when the prices come down, I will re-champion radio.
I think if you have a plan, the price point fits the plan. Because if you're sponsoring, I promise you, if you're sponsoring the Memorial Day mix, if you're sponsoring the Labor Day mix, that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, I understand it.
A lot of weight. And you got the right commercials that are the right targets. Because think about it. We're talking about radio and the impact, but you and I know for sure, and anybody in this room and anybody's listening, if you're in Atlanta, I bet you know the 411 jingle.
Yeah. Probably. If I hear it, I'll probably sing along for sure.
Every car accident lawyer jingle.
Right. Probably so.
The amount of money they're making.
But not these new kids, though. These new kids don't know. We know it.
They know it.
We know it. The new kids don't know it.
No. They just did a thing where the guys that were like known for the 411 jingle, just listed their double houses and twins next to each other for like $20-some million that they've made off of the radio jingle.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a real thing. And I get you. The reason why I know this is because the real A&R's kids, my kids will be in the backseat singing it. Yeah. They will be in the back singing it. So I know it's effective.
All right. Listen, I'm not bashing. I have a lot of friends in radio too. And so it's always a sensitive topic, but just like, everything in life, it has its time and you have to evolve. You know what I mean? That's why I'm sitting here as a streaming executive and not the record executive, because I had to evolve with the times.
True. But let's think about this. And the right radio, you can't tell me that the Breakfast Club doesn't impact a record.
Well, the Breakfast Club just ended because it's not impacting anymore.
No. That's not why it ended. Whoa.
So I'll just go ahead and throw that out there.
That's not why it ended. It's actually still going, but that's not why it ended. But as soon as they announced that Angela Yee was leaving, weren't they trending? And their top 10 things that happened?
They trended because it was great news.
People become stars damn near overnight when they go to $1
million worth of game is the new Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. everything has its time, Jason. You know, Real Industry Plugs is going to have its time. You know, we're going to have 5-10 years, and then the next $1 million worth of game, same way it overtook Breakfast Club, next thing overtake us.
This is what I miss about Clubhouse. We would have these type of conversations.
Well, listen, Clubhouse had its minute. It didn't have its time. It had its minute. And kudos to them. Clubhouse. Kudos to them for making their money. You know what I mean? I'm very excited for them. Yeah. So they did their thing and they came and they conquered. But I pray that they pulled that money out of that. You know what I mean? Before it's too late.
I don't know. I think didn't they pass up some crazy deal from Twitter or something? I don't know.
Which probably shouldn't have. They probably shouldn't have. They should have saw tea leaves. All my people on the radio, the tea leaves are out there. I'm with you. I support you 100% for what's next.
Hey, radio, I will never leave you. I love you, radio.
I support you 100% for what's next. You know what I mean? You need ideas, I got them.
For sure.
You know what I mean?